Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon. Good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices and we have allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something that you can see yourself supporting, well, we ask that you join the cause. Make sure that you like all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. We could be found under Frankie Olivo. Make sure you follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Remember, I will never ever ask you for money. I will never ever ask you for food. All I ask of our community is something very simple. All I ask for is for you to follow, subscribe to all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now on YouTube, we are at 933 subscribers. Our goal is to reach 1,000. I did promise my community that if you help me get to that mark, I have three stories lined up. One involves a grading scandal at Homer Hanna High, where a parent slash counselor manipulated grades in some sort of way to benefit her child. We have a story on a politician being accused of harassment. And the most juiciest one, you know what they say, sex does sell. Don't you want to learn about administrators doing the hokey pokey on school grounds, on school time? We'll tell you the who, the what, and why it happened. All I need is a little bit of your help. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. And that's one of the most difficult things to do for those individuals that aren't aware. Having a page, having a platform is difficult. It consumes me. Many people have questioned and said, how do you find time to it? I was like, I don't know. It just happens. Growing organically is one of the most difficult things imaginable. You may stop and think, and we are proud to announce that on our Facebook we have close to 50 followers. On YouTube, we have a little over 900. The goal is to get to 1,000. Growing organically is very difficult. But again, I don't think I'm asking for much. What I do is provide you with information that is not given to us. Unfortunately, our program here at Good Morning Brownsville likes to think of us as being behind closed doors, where politicos wine and dine, where they're wined and dined, and where deals are made. We give you the insights into what's happening. That's something that I'm very proud of, that we're unique in that way. This program has been something that the blog started, and we just took the torch from our former predecessor. We honestly feel that information is power. I don't get paid for what I do. Well, I do in some way by running a page, but I promise you, if we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, man, everything will be a-okay. Lots to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. BISD for these past few days have had special call board meetings on very, very important issues. What we have seen from the district in recent years has been a sharp decline. Unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Things are not looking well for the school district. Drastic change is needed in the very near future. We titled today's program, BISD is blowing Feria that they don't have. What happens is that whenever a school district is facing a growing budget challenge deficit, well, difficult decisions must be taken, especially when enrollment is declining throughout the years. And this ultimately signals that there is a need to consolidate and close schools. We are living through challenging times for BISD. And this isn't something that arose from one day to the next. This has been a culmination throughout the years. Whenever I think of BISD, I hate to sound negative, but it's a cluster. It's a big mess. It's a monster. It's something that needs to be fixed. What we've seen through recent times have been smeared in corruption, has been smeared in allegations of people on the take. You have heard the stories. We have seen board members arrested for all the wrong reasons. BISD is facing a challenging future because a large portion of their funds are going to be in question now. BISD's budget, $609 million. It's one of the largest that it's ever been that recently passed this past year. One would think, right, if I had $600 million, there would be plenty to go around, right? When we think of here locally in the Valley, the average income we would say is anywhere from 35 to 45,000. That's the median. And we still see people that they live off of that. You know, we might live paycheck to paycheck. We might have to eat a marucha here and there, but people survive off of that salary. I always am very appreciative of moms, right? Moms always made it happen. Growing up, I was middle class. I was poor. I never felt poor. I was raised with love, with a big belly. I always dressed nice. My family always took very good care of me. While we were struggling, I never knew that. Looking back, I'm like, how the hell did they do it? Raising kids, especially today, is expensive. Jeez. Now with Christmas, I know you're thinking, golly, I hope they don't ask me for what I think they're going to ask me. Phones cost easy over $1,000. Cars, the cheapest one is 20 grand. After interest, you'll pay 30, 32. Clothes, expensive. Dogs, expensive. Life is just expensive. And we would think that, you know, having a salary of $100,000, we could possibly make it. But as they say, the more you make, the more you spend, right? BISD is facing challenges. And if something is not fixed, bad things are ahead. Good Morning Brownsville likes to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. We stay away from the gray area. We wanted to give it to you smack on the face. At the end of the day, we feel as if you would appreciate someone being honest with you. We may try to sugarcoat things and try and give it to you a little bit nice, but the reality is grim. I feel as if the board is scared of what's to come. The super is wanting for these holidays to last a lifetime, because when January comes around, discussions will be made, if they haven't been made already, of getting rid of staff, lowering staff numbers, and closing schools. What I've gathered from members of the board is that they are hell-bound on not closing schools. It's not the popular thing to do, right? We have seen how in previous years, the community has come out and said, you know, we don't want Del Castillo to close. We don't want Southmost to close. It has so many great memories, and you can't do this to the community. What the school district is learning is that mismanagement has happened going back a decade or two. Everything that we're dealing with today is because of mismanagement. from previous years. And it's been a culmination of things. The dark reality and the sad reality is that this board does not want to accept the inevitable. And look, I understand. I don't want to be a Grinch for Christmas. I don't want to spoil the holidays. Thanksgiving and Christmas are supposed to be the happiest times of our lives, right? A time where we're filled with joy and love, and we kiss and we hug, and we're merry, and we're excited for the new year. And we hope that 2025 was everything and more that we expected, and 2026 will be received with even more ambition. The reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that Bisd is a freight train right now and is on a collision course, that if drastic measures are not taken, bad things will happen. We've spoken before about being elected official, and look, we are very critical of them. We will never ever target the community. This mic will never ever be weaponized. We hope that this platform is designed in a way to hold elected leaders, políticos, and those in leadership positions accountable, because they are held to a higher standard. And I hope we've been making you proud of asking these tough questions. Being a politico is hard, is difficult. It's easy to sit behind the camera and ah. My former predecessor was able to serve the community for a short time, twice, and it's a grind. It's a struggle. We entrust in them with, and we give them our vote of confidence to make those tough decisions for us as a whole. That everything that they do is done with our best interest. Nobody wants to be the Grinch. Nobody wants to spoil the holidays, and I understand. And today's program isn't designed to be that. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Whenever we think of holidays, we think of joy, and we always try to find positivity during the holidays when money and opportunity maybe isn't there. Remember when I said that moms and families always made it happen? I was always dressed in nice kicks, always dressed in Tommy Hilfiger, always made sure that I had $5 in my pocket for lunch every day. The family always make it happen because, the holidays are often wrapped in images of abundance and gifts stacked high. Remember those pictures as a kid growing up? We would see those movies. What's that movie? The Ralphie movie with gifts, and tables were overflowing with food, and families were celebrating with little worry. Remember that? Everything was jolly. Growing up, I was like, I want to be like a Watt family. They seem happy. We Mexicans are always mad at each other. For many people, this season, it highlights where it can highlight what feels missing: money, opportunities, or instability that we wish we had. If you're moving through the holidays with limited resources, it could feel discouraging. It's like a shot to the gut, right? Like, Yet even in these moments, positivity, it isn't just possible, but it could be very powerful. Bisd met yesterday for two very important issues. One being a teacher stipend and hiring legal services from a firm. Bisd, even though we have a school budget, an annual budget of $609 million, yesterday it was learned that the school district currently right now is in a deficit of $15 million. Now, whenever it comes to finances and those people in charge, accountants, lawyers too, but more accountants in finance, they always find a way to move money around because the goal of these people is to make sure that, number one, the budget is balanced. That's their goal, to make sure that if we are in a deficit, we are taking measures to be able to offset that. BISD for far too long have been accused of overspending. If you've been following our page, many people have been critical of being too top heavy. Why do we need so many assistants? Why are mid-level people, high people getting paid drastic salaries? Many people even argue and state we have a superintendent that's making more than the president of the free world. Valid arguments, right? And when we look around us, we say, geez, Brownsville's poor. How can we pay this man 400 plus? BISD currently right now is in a deficit of $15 million. And after yesterday, that deficit is going to grow even more. One thing that it boggles my mind when I think of BISD is that I feel as if they are reactive. They're not prevented. They don't prevent things from happening. They're of the type of, prefiero que pedir perdón que permiso. I prefer to ask for forgiveness rather than for permission. Let's see how it goes. We'll worry about it later. Shoot first, ask questions later. There are many reasons why we have come into this bubble that's about to burst. It's going to burst any time now. People have questioned, where are the ESSER funds, $400 and some million? Where are they? Shouldn't that money be somewhere? Did we really get rid of, I don't know. I don't want to give an exact number. I think it's in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Where did that money go? The way it works is whenever you think of a budget, a school district the size of BISD needs $90 million roughly in the coffers for a rainy day. If something drastic were to happen, they have 3 months of operational costs that will be able to keep them stay afloat before they even have to go out, I don't know, for a loan or something, or for a bond, or to raise our taxes or something. The issue of approving budgets, of managing, of balancing budgets is always something that never takes into account these stipends. Everyone knows that BISD for the past few years, they have given holiday stipends. Some have been in the 500s and the 750s, because why? You want to boost that morale, right? What's funny about this is that BISD thinks that throwing money, I guess money does, beat me up, girl, beat me up, but just give me money. I shouldn't laugh at that. But I hope it's not that way, because BISD, instead of changing the culture, the morale, whenever we think of teacher morale, you think it's high. You think when the board members say, believe in BISD, you think the teachers are like, oh, yeah, believe in BISD. Yeah, it's so great here. Look how we have it. Yeah. They have to force a smile just to get it out. While money is good, who am I to say right? Money is always good. But shouldn't we change the culture? Shouldn't we empower our teachers? I would dare make the argument that if you ask 10 teachers, 6, 7 would say, I'm not satisfied. I'm not happy. I feel as if I'm not appreciated. I've been overworked. I've been given more responsibilities. The pay is not what it was. Estos huercos los quiero ahorcar. What's been so fascinating about teachers is that I strongly believe that you, teachers, have so much power. If you were able to organize and come together, BISD is one of the largest employers south of San Antonio. Well, now with SpaceX and LNG, that's giving it a competition. But if you were to unite and take part in every election, you can sway the vote, people. You can you can win school district races, city races, county races at the rep at in Congress, but there's no unity. We have we have teachers unions that support all the wrong people. How can we support a school board president who doesn't even have her children at BISD but believe in BISD? Oh my God, are you serious? Again, maybe I'm crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe, I've, I've been told that I'm bitter, that I got an agenda, that I'm crazy, I'm losing it. I don't resonate with the people. I'm not able to read the room. As bad as this sounds, I think I'm very bright. They always say that those crazy people, tan poquito locos. I'm chisqueado, I guess. But the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't believe in BISD if we are not doing with actions. How can the board president say, I believe in BISD, but I send my kids to private school? What does that tell you? It tells you that she has no faith in the education system, the public education system. She has no faith in you, the teachers. I was criticized because they said, oh, well, what good parent would send their kid to BISD? She's fixing it. And once it's fixed, she's going to send her kids back to the school because it's a dump right now, but she's going to fix it. She has 5 years, going on 6 years of being on BISD. How much more time do we give her? Another 4 years? Where her kids are already going to graduate from school and say, oh, well, she couldn't fix the problem, but hey, believe in BISD. My God, please, people. I understand that the majority of those people giving me that contra was, people from St. Joe. I will dare say right now, the way it stands, private schooling is better than public education. That is a fact. There are many factors for that, but the main reason is it's better. I don't know why. Maybe it's the size, maybe it's the focal point, maybe it's the religion background. I don't know. BISD and the board has been so focused on dishing out large contracts that our budget is always in the red. Again, those auditors, those finance people, they always do a good job of shifting back and forth numbers. You want to turn the red into black. And they do good job. I heard about some codes of people being questioned in regards to using funds, using codes of making it seem as if everything's A-okay, but it's really not. And now we're going to see after the holidays, we are going to see how the school is going to encourage, Susan's favorite word, encourage teachers to retire. They're going to give them an incentive, an extra bonus. Hey, get out of here. The difficult thing to do is say that we are going to lose numbers in the workforce, and that's something that these people are dreading. But that's the reality. By being in And when us as people that control our finances, right? If you are in debt, I'm in debt, you're in debt, we're all in debt. If we are in debt, do we go and get an $80,000 truck that we can't afford? it's like it's like how my friends growing up, man, if you had a truck, if you had a mamalona, man, you had status. As long as you didn't have a Ford, if you had a Chevy Silverado, if you had a GMC Denali, all I could afford was a Nissan Versa. My friends were stuck with $80,000 car notes for trucks. Decía, Frankie, ¿dónde está la tuya? No, hombre, bro, yo estoy bien entracalado. Mejor me entracalo. I'd rather get even more in debt with something I could afford. We're already in debt. Might as well, right? Entáscate, enlódate, marrano. Screw it, ni modo. Al cabo, mañana nos morimos, como dice la raza. If we were in debt, would we get a new truck? Would we get a new vehicle? Would we be able to afford that? Probably not, right? Bisd gave money to teachers. The first idea was to give them $750. After taxes, they're probably looking at $500. It was amended and increased to $1,250. Is this something where the school district is saying, look, we're already losing? Look at the amount of teachers where we've been losing throughout the years. If we go through the numbers, this is data that was released by the school district in May of 2025, where it compares the student enrollment numbers with staffing numbers. Remember, I've said over and over again how in its heyday in 2015, the school district had close to 50,000 students. Imagine that monster of number. And they probably thought that they were going to be the kings of the hill forever. They had 4,000, they had 7,500 staff. Huge numbers. Today, 10 years, we've lost 15,000 students. We've lost 1,800 staff members. And it's not going to stop, people. These numbers are going to change drastically, dramatically. We are getting, people see blood in the water. You have Elon Musk building Astoria School on SpaceX. You know the foofies of the foofies, the smart kids are not going to be at BISD. Idea charter schools are eating our lunch. Dr. Chavez has gone on the record and stated that in 5 years, the school district anticipates to being under 25, around anywhere from 25 to 27,000 student enrollment. Can you imagine that? In 15 years, the school district has lost 25,000 students. That's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Would you be able to afford a brand new truck? Would you be able to afford a brand new expensive note? Obviously, we'd say no, right? Because we already in debt. Ya no sé cómo hacerle, mijo. I don't know how I'm going to do it. My parents, my family was very good at, helping me. And then it came to a certain point where they said, you know what? Figure it out. Ya estás grandecito, ya tienes pelos en el... Macheteale, mijo. Work hard and buy what you can afford. Right now, the school district is facing a $15 million deficit that after yesterday's meeting is going to go up. Now, I want to say this before I continue because I am getting, thoughts of people saying, oh, you're negative. Everything you do is just bad. Is there any positivity in your bones? No, there isn't, I promise. I went to school. My whole thought process of being graduating high school, going into college was I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a coach. That's my game plan. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to focus on. I didn't know about anything else. I didn't think about engineering. I didn't think about being a doctor. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I didn't want to be a veterinarian. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be a teacher. I hold teachers in the highest esteem. I think very highly of them. I honestly believe that if we were able to pay them what they were worth, we wouldn't be able to afford them. That's the reality. When I went to school 20 years ago, it was a lot different. The market has changed. Back then, being a teacher was the most smart thing to do. Good pay. You're going to have job security for 20, 30 years if you want. Now it's like we don't know. It's not this lucrative position that people thought. The kids and the youth and this culture of violence is not helping either. The school district is aware that drastic measures need to be done. I am fully convinced of that. They know what's coming. They are aware of what's coming, but they're trying to save face. One last holiday. Let's focus on positivity. Because the discussions of closing schools and cutting staff, laying off people, needs to be had, and it's going to be had. What I fear is with election right around the corner, Browns will corrupt. Sylvia Atkinson was under investigation for a while. And the way these things work is, they're working on something, they come across it, and then they just, it's a, oh, Brownsville, what a tangled web we weave. Sylvia Atkinson was under investigation for a while. It is our hope and quest that things are resolved quickly, but sometimes they get to a person and they flip that person and they don't charge them until later. That's the way the law enforcement works, unfortunately. But they are working. They are monitored. That's 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Is that really old news? You don't think other players are involved? We've stated before that Carlos Elizondo is being investigated by the three-letter agency for trying to, for providing a vendor with sensitive information. In regards to the budget, I think it's come to a point where they realize that they are already in the hole. There are many people within administration, within the Glass Palace that were involved with Sylvia. It doesn't just stop there. There's so many things that, well, I don't want to get off topic. The school district, I think, is at a point where they know that they are in a deficit, $15 million. They amended the stipend to be $1,250. That increase in stipend is going to put the school district close to 25, anywhere from 21 to $23 million in a hole. I think the approach is we're already losing. Might as well give these people something. Instead of focusing on making sure we don't give out vendors, because vendors are eating our lunch. Vendors are taking us to the cleaners. It seems as if the teachers always get the crumbs. And they keep on electing the same people, unfortunately. Teachers, staff, are you happy with the service that you've been provided by the board? These empty promises? If you are, God bless you. Because no one sitting on that school board deserves to be reelected. That's just the truth. Because everything that they've done, that they've tried to do, has not shown its fruit. Bisd has been declining in every aspect of the word. So we anticipate that Bisd, after giving this stipend of $12.50, will be in the hole even more, from 15 to possibly up to 25 $25,000. And again, the reality is that schools will be closing. The thing that I fear, ladies and gentlemen, is that with election cycle right around the corner, these people aren't going to close schools. So what is that going to lead to? That's going to put an even more financial burden on the district's budget. Because again, having a school, I know the numbers may be off, but when I ran for Bisd, it cost $1 million of operational costs for one day. It cost the district $30 million for 1 month to keep the lights on, for salaries, for everything. If these board members aren't able to make the tough decision of closing schools, what's going to happen? It's going to get even more expensive. Our deficit is going to grow and grow and grow and grow. Why? Because they don't want to be known as the board member that closed down schools. How does that look for a reelection campaign? We have the Golden Girl. We have Carlos Elizondo. We have Frank Ortiz. We have Denise Garza. If she were to be victorious in this primary, that seat might open up. Possibly 3 for sure, possibly 4 seats. You think they want to talk about the bad things that have happened under their tenure, under their watch? What can they say? How can they convince you, the voter, that they deserve 4 more years? A slogan that here at Good Morning Brownsville we've been talking about is, what have you done for me lately? Someone went on Monday's show and was like, what have you done for the city? You're crazy. You're stupid. I'm not an elected official. If you gave me an opportunity, so we would show you. And if we're not, we wouldn't dare give our face and ask for your vote, because we feel as if we should ask every politician, from Congress to Austin to our local board members, county, city officials, what have you done for me lately? And you know what this current board can say? Pues nada. Nothing. Nada. Zip. All it is about self-enrichment. All about benefiting them. That's why I have a big issue with Daniela Lopez Valdez. She's being coddled by the private school St. Joe Mafia. But what has she done for the district? Nothing. Nothing, people. But she has conflicts of interest with Lone Star National Bank. Her dad used to be, or was, or is a board member. She has a conflict of interest with Redfish Recycling. She was paid in some sort of way. She filed a conflict of interest. She still voted for them on a 3-year contract. Like, come on, people. Are we that blind? Have we accepted corruption that we just bend over and say, déjamela caer? Come on. Stand up, people. Why are we allowing these same individuals to keep on using? And us, they want to raise our taxes. Oh, my goodness. Really, people? Schools will should be closed, but I fear that these people don't want to bite the bullet. It's going to look very bad for them because, again, all they're worried about is getting reelected. That's it. That's their only thing. They don't care about you and I. They don't care about what your child goes through. All they care about is, am I going to get 4 more years? While we are grinding, while we have it tough, while the hustle is real, they live high off the hog. You think they're struggling? Nambre. Pícame los ojos one time. So it just goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, that drastic measures need to be taken. The school district is in an even worse. It's even worse the way Daniel Valdez and all the rest of the board members found it. And if you feel as if mediocrity is okay for you, then vote whoever you want and please get off my page. But I want you to start thinking about change, wanting to elect people who are going to put our best interests at heart. But we don't. We vote for these people on the promise of them doing something and producing, and what's going to happen? Nothing. We got to close schools. These are the ones that are being discussed. Are they going to do it? I don't think so. Another topic of discussion, ladies and gentlemen, was the attorney. Since June, the board did not have an attorney. They tasked Miguel Salinas as being the board attorney of pretty much running everything. And he pretty much said, hey, whoa, yo no puedo, I can't. We need somebody else. We need to go back and fix this issue. I always thought it was funny when he did that. He did it in open court, in an open forum. We understand the responsibilities of an attorney. The size of the school district is enormous, is monstrous. But yesterday, during the selection for the board attorneys, it was very interesting. The first ones for the request for qualifications that presented was O'Hanlon, Demaroth, and Castillo. The previous attorneys at one time, and they had a month-to-month contract previously with the board. They portrayed themselves as being a one-stop shop with over 40 plus years of experience, that they've been able to provide stability from the school district. There are some contradictions in yesterday's meeting that still didn't clear up for me, at least, because this idea was that O'Hanlon doesn't outsource, doesn't pay other attorneys to help them with appellate work, with grievances, with that. They do everything. Whatever you need, we have the manpower, we have the experience and the knowledge to provide this service for the school district. They did say, that they have offices throughout the state and they would be able to guide the district, especially during this uncertain time. And they talked about how they were deep and diverse and they specialize in all these great things. They focus on minorities, on women, on being bilingual, and their focal point being government, education, government, and litigation experience. Eric Flores, the congressional candidate for Congressional District 34, was present. Also was Kevin O'Hanlon. The next presenter was Baltasar Salazar. Baltasar Salazar is a very interesting character because he has served the district in previous years, and what he was a stark contrast amongst the other two firms that presented yesterday before the board. Baltasar pretty much stated that he was a one-man army, that is 30 plus years of experience and a current school board attorney for Rio Grande, and doing work at San Benito CISD and being a former previous BISD attorney. He was best prepared to be able to provide these legal services. One thing that kind of caught my attention was he stated that he was the only attorney that is a BISD product, that his family, that he has family, teachers. He comes from parents of educators. That he has a personal interest. He's invested in Bisd because of his grandchildren. One thing, and every board member did have they did have questions. You could have asked 2 questions, but every question had to be asked to each attorney, to each presenter. One question that coming up that was asked by Denise Garza and Denise Garza and Jessica Gonzalez, board members, were what's your position on outsourcing cases? And these questions were designed for Baltasar Salazar, because Baltasar Salazar was said to hire his friends, attorneys. The newest school in Brownsville is Veterans, if I'm not mistaken. That is probably one of the newest construction here within our school district. Well, during they had problems, and while they were constructing Veterans High School, they went into litigation. There was some sort of mold or water, or there was issues. And Baltasar Salazar was said to have hired other attorneys. The difference between someone, let's say, such as Baltasar Salazar, who served the school district for 8 years, or an O'Hanlon or a Walsh Gallegos, was that the other firms previously have stated, hey, we're on a fixed income. If we say 150, if we say 180, if we say 200, that's what it is. And you get all 16 of us, you get all of our experience, you have all of our time, you get a one-stop shop. It was alleged in previous years that Baltasar Salazar's salary had grown, that it wasn't something steady, that it was always increasing and increasing and increasing. Better call Sal. So it's interesting. It's interesting to learn how the contrast of these attorneys. O'Hanlon said, hey, we have a number of attorneys. Baltasar saying, I'm a one-stop shop. In previous years, O'Hanlon has said, hey, we're a fixed fee. Baltasar was kind of in the 300 range, if I'm not mistaken, according to sources. The last presenter was Leandra Costilla Ortiz from Walsh Gallegos. Walsh Gallegos has also in previous years been board attorneys for the school district. And just like O'Hanlon, they spoke about how they were throughout the state of Texas, that they had knowledge and experience, seasoned attorneys that would be able to provide the board with the best legal advice, that they had a wide scope of resources that they could tap into, of the focal point where they can, provide everything. Again, a one-stop shop. Ultimately, O'Hanlon did win on a 4-1 vote to be the school board's attorneys moving forward. The school district is facing a lot of uncertainty. What we saw from this previous election, where they tried to increase your property taxes, was that I think the community finally starting to realize that they need to take part more in the elections. They overwhelmingly rejected the propositions by Bisd to increase property taxes. That is a great start, my people. But we have very, very important elections coming up. How do you feel about your tax dollars being used? we pride ourselves on making sure that this microphone, that this program, I'm on TV talking like it's just you and me. And I want you to start asking those tough questions with me. What have you done for me lately, politician? This question I want you to ask to Carlos Elizondo, Frank Ortiz, La Golden Girl, and Denise Garza if she moves on to Cameron County Clerk. What have you done for me lately? Don't you want to be a player? You listening to me right now? Don't you want to have a voice? Don't you have skin in the game? Aren't you a taxpayer? Haven't you seen? Oh, Trevino, you're too kind. You shouldn't have. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. When you received your bill in October, were you happy to see that your property taxes increased for BISD? I didn't like to see my grandfather's. Again, if BISD is providing a product that you say, man, hey, lo merece. Lo merece. They're very good. You know what? Here. And I think we're okay with that. I always joke with my friends. Whenever, we talk about food. I love food. I've always been of the belief that I don't mind paying $30 for a steak. I don't mind paying $50 for a steak. I don't mind paying $60 for a steak. I really don't. But that steak better be like, I better be licking the plate. But what happens whenever you're sold on a product and it's not to your liking, it's not to your satisfaction, and then te la dejan caer moco $60? Oh, I can't breathe. A $60 steak, vale pa pura. I can't breathe. You know what I mean? That's the same thing what we're experiencing with our politicians. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. You shouldn't have. Thank you so much. That's the same thing with our politicians, ladies and gentlemen. They're promising us the world. Agárrate, because when I'm in office, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. People, I understand it's difficult. I ran for office. My uncle served you. I stood next to him. It's different whenever you're on the other side. Ta cañón. But if you can't produce, step aside. It's okay. You weren't able to do what you said. Ni pex, ni modo, whatever. Pat on the back. Yay. But move along. Let the next person tira fregazos, because what they were doing obviously didn't produce. Minerva Peña, what have you done for me lately? She has been on the board for 16, possibly going on 20 years, 2 decades. What have you done for me lately? What have we seen from her at the helm at BISD? Have we seen the school district progress? Have we seen any positive, anything that we can say, wow, Ida? Man, I'm so glad I voted for Minerva Peña. Ida? Wow. Easiest decision I've ever made. But what have we seen? Because at the end of the day, numbers. It's all about numbers. Right? It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. What have we seen? Decline. And what? Student enrollment from 50, we're going to be at 25 in 5 years. Staff, we were at 7,500. We're going to be at 5,000 in 5 years. What have you done for me lately? I want you to ask that question for each and every politician that's asking for your vote. We understand that being politicians is difficult. We don't, we know. I don't know. I understand. What have you done for me lately? And if you're not able to produce, get the hell out the way. A school district facing a growing budget deficit must make difficult decisions, especially when declining enrollment signals an impending need to consolidate or close schools. Despite these challenges, the district continues to spend money on stipends that may not be sustainable in the long term, raising concerns among staff and community members. As student enrollment numbers drop, funding decreases, leaving the district with fewer resources to maintain the same level of operations. This mismatch between spending and enrollment, it does trend to create financial strain and uncertainty, making it critical for leadership to develop a transparent and responsible plan that addresses both current needs and future realities. What have you done for me lately, politician? That is a question I want you to ask. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frank Olivo TV. Best believe we'll come on live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., and sometimes a little bit after. Information is power. As long as you let me, Brownsville, we will come on before you and talk about the important issues that are affecting our local area. I don't care if it's 1, 2, or the thousands that we've been receiving. We'll come on as long as you let us. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Make sure you join us tomorrow morning. We have a very juicy topic as well. Don't miss it. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frank Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace! Mm.